Barry Diller is one of those figures, you know, in business history, you hear his name all the time.
Oh, constantly.
But his actual impact, I mean, it's almost impossible to fully grasp without a map.
That's a great way to put it. He didn't just run companies. He basically reinvented entire industries.
He took the established networks, created the blueprint for how films are distributed, and then, without even missing a beat, he invented the structure for the internet conglomerates we all live under today.
It's true. When you look at his career, he's less a mogul and more a case study in perpetual, almost aggressive reinvention.
Right.
You can literally trace the history of modern media from the made-for-TV movie all the way to Match.com, and Diller's strategy is what defines the curve at every single turn.
And that is exactly our mission for this deep dive. We're looking at the sources detailing his whole trajectory, focusing on both the public story and the hidden life he finally revealed in his 2025 memoir, Who Knew? We want the absolute shortcut to understanding how one person could shape TV, Hollywood, and global e-commerce in 3 completely separate disruptive acts.
And the roots of that drive, this enigma, they start right at the beginning. He was born in 1942, raised in, peak Beverly Hills glamour.
But his home life was the opposite of glamorous.
Anything but stable. His early life was marked by his parents constantly separating and a real layer of early trauma.
Yeah, we're talking about a really chaotic home environment, and that includes the tragic detail about his older brother, who struggled with addiction and died at 36 in a police incident.
Exactly. And that turbulent foundation, looking back, it seems to have created this constant, almost frantic need to control his professional world.
To push boundaries.
And to push boundaries, yeah. He needed structure in his career because he just didn't have it as a kid.
And what a structure he built. I mean, today, Diller, at 83, is presiding over IAC. That's the digital conglomerate with stakes in Vimeo and others, and the Expedia Group.
The massive travel enterprise.
And a personal fortune of about $4.2 billion.
Yeah.
He went from that chaotic upbringing to commanding these 2 massive digital empires.
It's the ultimate outsider story, really, that ends with him right at the immovable center of the media world. Which brings us to Act 1, his rebel origins, and how he completely revolutionized television.
The unconventional start is so key to his mindset. He completely rejected traditional education.
Right, he dropped out of UCLA.
After 1 semester. It's that classic jumping without a net pattern. His ambition was his diploma.
He needed to be inside the system to learn the rules. His real university, as he called it, was the mailroom at the William Morris Talent Agency.
And he wasn't just stuffing envelopes.
No, not at all. He was obsessively reading contracts, internal producer gossip. He said they were like his suspense novels.
He was learning the mechanics from the ground up, figuring out every single leverage point. And the sources show that even his earliest colleagues saw that drive.
Oh, yeah.
There's that perfect anecdote about the future screenwriter, Nora Ephron, who actually fired him from the school newspaper.
For being too bossy.
Too bossy. It's incredible.
That's some serious foreshadowing, right? But that focus paid off fast. He moves to ABC, and by 1969, he's the vice president of programming.
And this is where he starts to fundamentally reshape what America watches.
Yes, this is the moment.
Here he introduces the format that redefined a whole generation of television, ABC's Movie of the Week. Explain why this was such a lightning strike.
Well, before Diller, the broadcast landscape was just totally dominated by the big 3 networks.
ABC, CBS, NBC.
Yep. And movies on TV were usually just blockbusters that had already finished their run in theaters. ABC's Movie of the Week was completely different. It offered 90-minute films made specifically for TV.
And they were based on real headlines, right?
Real, often controversial headlines or these high-stakes melodramas. It sounds simple now, but it was revolutionary.
The timing was everything.
It was. What's fascinating is, according to a USC study from that time, the 1970s, this innovation just democratized the whole viewing experience.
How so?
Instead of forcing viewers into another hour-long drama or a stale rerun, this 90-minute movie format captured young, urban audiences who wanted specific, timely content. It completely broke the monopoly on what event television even meant.
And that innovation set him up perfectly for Act 2, becoming a Hollywood king and then a network fragmenter.
So in 1974, at the just frankly unheard of age of 32, he moves to Paramount Pictures.
This just kicks off Paramount's golden age.
Oh, their glory years, absolutely.
Yeah.
Under his leadership, they produced these massive cultural touchstones like Chinatown.
And Airplane.
And Airplane, the genre-defining satire. By 1983, he'd risen to CEO of the entire Gulf Plus Western Leisure Group. The lawyer Robert Montgomery called him the most successful executive in the cinema today.
But success and stability, they don't satisfy Diller.
Never.
He got frustrated with the established network model, felt it was creatively stagnant, so he makes another calculated leap. In 1984, he partners with Rupert Murdoch to create the Fox Broadcasting Company.
And they launch it in '86. And this wasn't just starting a new channel. This was market fragmentation by deliberate design.
Right. How do they do it?
They succeeded by actively going after the audience that the big three ignored. They launched shows that were irreverent, edgy, sometimes shocking.
The Simpsons?
The Simpsons, Married with Children. They targeted the youth, the dissenters, anyone looking for a new cultural conversation.
And the disruption was immediate. I mean, it was measurable. A 1990 paper in the Journal of Broadcasting and Electronic Media analyzed just how profound this was.
And what did it find?
Fox attracted demographics like millennials who weren't watching the traditional networks, and it lowered competitors' key ratings by a specific 15%.
15%. Think about what that means in lost ad revenue and market share for the big guys.
Is huge.
It's not just a drop in viewers. It forces legacy media to panic and adapt. It cemented Diller's big lesson. Bet on the controversial.
The stuff everyone else is afraid of.
That's often the winning strategy.
So if Diller's the disruptor, what happens when he builds the network that's doing the disrupting? He realizes he has to keep moving.
Right. He breaks with Murdoch in '92, called him too volatile.
Too controlling, yeah. And then came the pivot that just baffled the entire industry.
This transition is so crucial. After running two of the biggest entertainment companies in the world, he founds USA Broadcasting, and in 1995, he buys QVC.
And people were openly mocking him. They sneeringly called it Schmatland, selling cheap clothing and home goods on TV.
But Diller saw so much more than rhinestone jewelry. He wasn't just buying a shopping channel.
Wow.
He was acquiring a functioning, integrated ecosystem for interactive commerce. He bought logistics, payment processing, fulfillment, and a direct line to millions of customers.
He knew the TV was about to become a vehicle for transactions, not just for watching.
Exactly. It was the direct on-ramp to the internet era.
That foresight is the perfect bridge to Act 3, the digital empire builder. He pivots fully and forms IAC, which was initially USA Interactive, in 1995.
This is where his genius for corporate structure just shines. He starts snapping up properties, Home Shopping Network, Ticketmaster, the Sci-Fi Channel.
It became a machine, basically.
A machine to launch, test, and integrate all these different consumer businesses.
And that genius model of IAC, which was analyzed in a 2025 Harvard Business Review deep dive, is how he learned to seed and harvest startups. Explain what that means, maybe using Tinder or Vimeo as examples.
Sure. A traditional conglomerate is usually about rigid control. IAC is different. Diller's model is more like a shared services platform.
Like an incubator.
Kind of an internal venture capital firm. They incubate companies, give them independence, but they also provide the infrastructure, legal, accounting, tech, which reduces their need for outside VC money.
And then when they're ready,
once a business line matures, like Tinder or Expedia, Diller can spin it off into its own separate, publicly traded company. It just maximizes shareholder value.
it's the ultimate deconstruction and reconstruction machine. And that strategy is exactly what multiplied the company's value tenfold in just 15 years. It's just rapid-fire creation leveraged by scale.
But that level of power, that level of disruption, it inevitably attracts controversy. We have to talk about the legal challenges that have kind of shadowed this third act.
Let's start with Aereo. In 2012, Diller invested heavily in this company.
Which was offering a service to stream broadcast TV over the internet using these tiny remote antennas.
Essentially bypassing standard cable contracts.
It was pure innovation pushing right up against the legal boundaries of distribution. The Supreme Court eventually shut Aereo down for copyright violation.
But the implications were massive.
Oh, huge. A 2024 paper in the Journal of Media Law noted this case became the key modern example for that balance between aggressive tech innovation, which is Diller's whole MO, and protecting intellectual property.
That was the line. He was always testing it.
All
And then more recently, there was the scrutiny over the Activision Blizzard options purchase in 2021, right before Microsoft's huge acquisition.
That deal, which led to a regulatory inquiry, it just highlights the intense pressure and constant speculation that follows someone operating at that level. Diller publicly denied having any inside information.
Of course.
But these moments just underscore the high-wire act you're performing when you're constantly leveraging massive deals across all these different sectors.
So after decades of defining the entire media landscape, what about the man himself? Act 4 gets into the personal reveal and what we can call the Diller Doctrine.
The sources confirm this legendary personal detail that he had concealed for decades.
His marriage to the designer Diane von Furstenberg in 2001.
A marriage he described so beautifully as an explosion of passion. Despite that, Diller had concealed his gay orientation until his 2025 memoir finally came out.
And that detail is so critical because it connects the personal turbulence of his youth to the need for professional control and ultimately to his final lesson about truth.
Right, even the most powerful executives are fighting these massive, unseen personal battles.
And that honesty informs his public role now. He's sort of pivoted to become the ultimate anti-tech bro, using his stature to criticize the very ecosystem he helped build.
He rails against what he calls the dictatorial tech bros, who he claims never created anything and just rely on algorithms to destroy human-led businesses like Hollywood.
He is passionately doubling down on human creativity, even as AI and streaming dominate everything. At the Focusrite conference in 2025, he specifically said that in travel, the human experience wins.
Over Google, over AI, over pure algorithmic optimization.
Exactly.
That is his core belief, his final legacy, that the creativity and passion he valued when he was producing Chinatown or greenlighting The Simpsons will always be the most valuable currency.
And you see that reflected in his philanthropy, like that beautiful little island park in the Hudson.
And his role as a mentor to the killer Dillers, people like Michael Eisner.
So if we synthesize his 4 acts, the TV revolution, the Hollywood king, the network fragmenter, the digital harvest master, what are the 3 undeniable lessons in the Barry Diller manual for you, the listener?
The 3 maxims are pretty clear. First, bet on the controversial. The success of Movie of the Week and the edginess of Fox prove that fearlessness, not caution, is what drives the market forward.
Okay, number 2, reinvent or die. His pivots weren't just career changes, they were existential business moves. From network TV to buying QVC and then taking that insight straight to IAC.
You have to cannibalize your own business before someone else does.
And third,
be honest, even if it hurts. The personal reveal in his memoir just underscores that hiding who you are or what your business really is creates friction. Transparency in the long run builds deeper resilience.
That's a potent combination of business strategy and intense personal resilience.
Yeah.
His central argument today remains that human creativity and passion will ultimately defeat AI saturation.
And defeat the algorithmic dominance of these platforms. He believes passion creates lasting impact and true value, something that the tech bros, as he calls them, often lack because they're focused only on efficiency, not invention.
So we've tracked the story of the ultimate outsider who became king by constantly looking around the corner.
Defining the industry not once, but through 4 distinct eras of disruption.
But the Diller story, it leaves us with some really critical current challenges. I mean, given the utter dominance of streamers and the need for new, diverse content, how can traditional media networks possibly survive?
What's their next disruptive format?
And more philosophically, Diller talks about human-AI hybrids being the future, but where is that balance? How do you maintain the human passion needed to drive impact when efficiency and scale are increasingly governed by algorithms?
It really forces you to consider how quickly your own career or your business might need to follow that Diller path.
Reinvent or die.
Reinvent or die.
It's a compelling charge. We hope this deep dive into the relentless life of Barry Diller helps you see around your next corner.